They rewrote the rules of rock by working side by side. Then everything changed. When creative balance fractured, control replaced trust, and egos eclipsed collaboration, the world's biggest band silently began to destroy itself from within. Before blame or fame, there was a moment everything was still possible. What really shattered Pink Floyd's unity? After Syd Barrett's sudden exit, Pink Floyd found a new kind of balance. Roger Waters brought the big ideas. His words and concepts shaped the band's direction. David Gilmour answered with guitar lines and melodies that gave those ideas depth and feeling. Richard Wright's keyboards colored the sound, while Nick Mason's drums anchored everything. In the studio, no one voice drowned out the others. Producer Alan Parsons described these sessions as open and democratic, with everyone shaping the music together. The album credits told the same story. On Wish You Were Here, in 1975, tracks like Shine On You, Crazy Diamond gave equal writing credit to Waters, Gilmour, and Wright. Even when Waters took the lyrical lead, the music itself grew from conversation and compromise. Royalties were split 4 ways, reinforcing the sense of shared purpose. This approach did not just keep the peace, it created the sound that would define Pink Floyd's greatest years. Engineers in the studio began to notice a change. By the mid-1970s, Roger Waters arrived with notebooks full of lyrics and concepts, often guiding sessions with a firmer hand. Producers who once praised the band's open debates now described conversations where Waters' ideas dominated the room. Studio notes from these years mention Waters pushing for multiple takes until his vision was realized, sometimes leaving David Gilmour and Richard Wright waiting for their turn. James Guthrie, an engineer on later projects, recalled Waters taking the lead on arrangements that used to be group decisions. Even casual remarks in the control room hinted at a growing hierarchy, one where Waters' ambition quietly set the pace. Gilmour's melodic instincts and Wright's atmospheric touches were still present, but the sense of equal footing began to slip. What once felt like a meeting of minds started to feel more like a single direction, with others following. The first cracks were small, but they were impossible to ignore. Album liner notes from 1977 made it clear. Every lyric on Animals belonged to Roger Waters alone. Where earlier records showed a mix of names, now the credits reflected a single voice. Studio engineers from the Animals sessions described a new atmosphere, one where Waters arrived with finished words and concepts, expecting the band to build music around his framework. David Gilmour and Richard Wright, who once shaped songs from the ground up, found themselves reacting instead of leading. Producer Brian Humphreys noted the shift. Debates grew shorter, and decisions landed faster, but not everyone felt included. Waters' authority extended beyond lyrics, arrangement choices, and even the album's visual themes ran through him. Gilmour still fought for space, especially on the track Dogs, but the sense of shared ownership faded. The band's creative engine was still running, but it was now driven from one seat. These changes in credit and studio culture set the stage for even deeper fractures ahead. In July 1977, the wall between Pink Floyd and their audience became real. During a show in Montreal, Roger Waters, frustrated by the chaos in the crowd, spat at a fan. That moment haunted him, feeding the idea that would soon consume the band. When work began on the wall, Waters demanded total control, shaping the double album into a rock opera about alienation and fear. Sessions grew tense. Producer Bob Ezrin recalled Waters pushing the others aside, especially Richard Wright, whose contributions were questioned at every turn. By the time the album neared completion, Wright was told to leave. He agreed, but only after negotiating to stay on as a hired musician for the tour, no longer an equal partner, just a paid performer. The Wall's live shows in 1980 and 1981 made the metaphor literal. A massive brick barrier rose between the band and the audience each night. Wright played behind it, visible but separate. The band's unity had become an illusion. In the aftermath of The Wall, Pink Floyd's creative process nearly vanished. The album credits from the early 1980s list Roger Waters as the dominant author, with David Gilmour and Nick Mason credited only on specific songs. Richard Wright's name is absent altogether. Nick Mason later wrote that by this point the band's communication was almost non-existent. Decisions were made in isolation, and any sense of group discussion disappeared. The final cut, released in 1983, carried Waters' vision almost alone, with Gilmour and Mason contributing as supporting players. What once felt like a band had become a collection of individuals working in separate rooms, rarely speaking, their only connection filtered through Waters' control. Roger Waters walked away from Pink Floyd in 1985, convinced the band was finished without him. David Gilmour and Nick Mason chose to press on, and Waters filed suit in the UK High Court to stop them from using the name. After months of legal arguments, the 1987 settlement allowed Gilmour and Mason to keep Pink Floyd, while Waters retained rights to the Wall's imagery and themes. The band's split was now official, on paper and in public. Creative power still divides bands and brands alike. When vision turns into ownership, collaboration becomes the cost. Legacies endure, but unity is always harder to keep than to break. Share your thoughts below.